If you're a beginner runner and you're gasping for air after just 2 to 3 minutes, but you can walk for 20 to 30 minutes just fine, your lungs are probably not the problem. As a doctor of physical therapy and run coach who works with beginner and injured runners, I see the mistake all the time. Today, I'm going to show you why you get out of breath so fast, what's actually failing first, and how to go from 2 minutes to 20 minutes with nonstop running. So, most beginner runners tell me, I think my lungs are weak. I can't last more than 3 minutes. Do I need breathing exercises? And look, breathing does matter, but running is not just cardio alone. See, running is repeated single leg hops, high impact, right? It's anywhere from 2 to 3 times your body weight per step. So if you're a 150-pound runner, that's 300 to 450 pounds of force going through your leg. And it's distance running, right? We're talking about trying to maintain that speed for a set amount of distance, and you're trying to run under fatigue as your body starts fatigue for hundreds of repetitions. That's a muscular endurance and strength problem first, not just your lung problem. And a simple reality check, right? If you can go for a brisk walk for 30 minutes without getting winded, your lungs are probably just fine. Sure, can you improve them a little bit? Definitely. But if you could do that, it's not like you have a medical condition. Like if you have asthma, that's a different story. But for the most everyday person, they could do that. They just have to train their muscles, not just don't stop, worrying about your lungs, stop obsessing about that. Or like, you needing some advanced breathing exercise. And if you want a copy of this Google Doc to use as a training guide, I'm sharing inside my free online running group, link in the description to download it. So what's actually causing you to gas out? So number one, running is strength in disguise. So every stride is a single leg hop, a calf raise, a stability drill, mini plyometric, like I talked about 2 to 3 times your body weight of impact forces. Now repeat that 500, 1,000 times per run, depending on the distance that you're running, whether you're running for 30 minutes, an hour, what have you. And beginner runners don't lack motivation. Typically, they're excited to run. And it's because they lack tissue capacity, the ability to tolerate low tolerance, especially in the muscle of the posterior chain, the glutes, the hamstring, the calves. And yes, the anterior chain can be strengthened as well. So if you have weak hip flexors or quads or tibialis anterior, that can be a problem as well. Don't get me wrong. And obviously the core is very important, not just the six pack, but also the muscles of your lower back, right? Your trunk extensors and the muscles on the side, the obliques or your trunk lateral flexors or rotators. Those are also very important. And even the upper body is actually pretty important as well. People are going to have different weak links, but for a majority of runners, usually the posterior chain and the core. So why your breathing feels out of control? So here's what's actually happening. Your legs are fatiguing first. Your running form breaks down. You start to slouch. You start to look like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, and your effort skyrockets. It feels much harder to run, and your breathing starts spiking. Your body starts panicking. It's like, we need more air. We need more oxygen. So it feels like a lung issue. But physiologically, your brain increases breathing as a response to muscular fatigue and stress. Weak legs equals higher effort, right? A higher rated perceived exertion, and faster breathing. So the beginner trap, you run, gas out, walk. So most beginners train like this: run hard, gas out, walk, repeat that over and over and over. So this could build tolerance to fatigue, but not strength, right? And don't get me wrong, if you do this long enough, you might get a little bit better with running. Distance is another big issue for sure. But this is also like going to the gym and lifting the same light dumbbells, right? Forever and ever and ever, and wondering why you're not getting stronger, right? If you keep repeating the same workout week after week with your runs, your body, you probably hit a speed barrier, a barrier we can't get any faster. That also happens as well. But you're like, but I've been running for years. I've been stuck at 5 miles per hour, 12-minute per mile pace. There's something else going on. It's usually that you're not doing the strength training that will allow you to break the speed barrier to allow you to run faster. So the strength training mistake most runners make. Most runners either don't strength train at all. They just don't do it at all. Like, why do I need to strength train? I just run, bruh. Or they do light, high rep cardio style workouts. They do boot camps, circuits, light weights, endless reps. And that's not true strength training. See, runners don't need more leg cardio, right? They already get cardio at running. They need progressive strength. Think from going, if we're doing body weight squats, start doing heavy squats, right? Start adding weight, start adding load, whether it's barbell, kettlebell, dumbbells, hell, get a sandbag. You have to make it progressively heavier. And if you prefer to body weight exercise, calisthenics, you go from a two-legged squat to a staggered squat to a single leg squat, right? And then if the single leg squat's too easy, you can even do a jumping single leg squat. So there's different ways to progress, even with body weight exercises. But typically, I tell most folks just use weights, right? You just get adjustable dumbbells for home if you like to work out from home, or very heavy resistance bands. But the thing is, you want to do progressive strength training. Is you're progressively getting stronger, right? You're not just using the exact same weight every single week for months on end or years on end, right? You want to train yourself with the strength training to get to fatigue. You're actually lifting heavy enough that you're actually getting tired. You're hitting that momentary muscular fatigue, real load on muscles and tendons. It doesn't mean that every workout has to look exactly the same. You might have a heavy day where you maybe lift 3 to 5 rep max on the squats, and then more a higher rep day where you go into muscle fatigue. Maybe you do 12 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps, right? But you're still going to actual fatigue where you're fully exhausting the muscle. So you may vary the different types of strength workouts you do, the reps and set schemes, but regardless, you're doing some lifting at least 2 times a week. And even better, I'd say with three times a week, but I understand people have busy schedules, but at least 2 times a week. So what happens when your legs get stronger? See, this is what I see with my clients, especially runners 35 years old and older, 40 years old and older, right? Your master's level runners. When strength improves, each stride costs less energy. Running economy improves, right? This is how efficient you can be. And this can vary on the individual runner, but I've seen some runners improve like 8% of their running efficiency, the running economy, able to hold, their pace for longer, right? Maybe they were only run for 20 minutes, but now they could run for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, right? Breathing feels calmer. You last longer without stopping, not because your lungs changed, but because your muscles finally caught up to the demands of running. So this is the exact framework I use with a lot of beginner runners who want to improve their breathing when they also need just to improve their foundations, their basic running, which is 3 runs per week. You don't have to do 6 or 7 days a week. And for a lot of beginners, I don't like that kind of scheme because they tend to do junk miles. They tend to run the recovery runs too hard, which is causing them to be overly fatigued or put them at risk for injury. So I like doing just 3 runs per week plus 2 days of cross training. Cross training could be incline walk, weighted walking. This is where you walk with a weighted vest or ankle weights or a weighted backpack, and even rowing or elliptical or biking. But I am more of a fan of speed walking, incline walk, or the weighted walk. And then there's also 2 strength sessions per week. And if you can, get a 3rd one in there, and then getting proper recovery, sleep, right? Making sure you're getting enough sleep and nutrition as well, proper fueling. Yeah, right. It doesn't rely on some elaborate, fancy breathing hacks. You don't have to, travel to the Himalayan mountains to get this secret breathing hack from some yogi living in a cave, right? It's not about overtraining. It's not about running every single day of the week, especially for busy adults, parents, right, veterans, etc. So after fixing the problem, once runners build the strength, 2 to 3 minutes becomes 15 to 20 minutes with nonstop running, less panic breathing, less knee and hip pain, and better confidence, and better running economy. And the funny part, they think that their cardio magically improved, but in reality, their legs stop being the weak link. So I currently have a few spots open for one-to-one coaching, private coaching for beginner and injured runners, or even intermediate runners, or even advanced runners who need help with their running. And whether you gas out quickly, deal with pain, or want to run longer without injury. If you want that personalized running roadmap, strength, running, recovery, there's a link in the description to apply. First come, first serve. So lesson 1, if you gas out fast, it's not always your lungs. Lesson 2, running is a strength sport disguised as cardio. Lesson 3, strong leggers equals calmer breathing and longer runs. And after 10 years as a PT and run coach, this is one of the biggest breakthrough beginner runners experience.